This girl was bullied for her massive belly, but now she makes $12,000 a month eating on camera. Like, this is probably one of the dumbest slash laziest slash what am I reading type of side hustles I have ever seen. Like, also, like, just think about it, right? Imagine if you can make $12,000 a month with your side hustle where it involves you eating food. That's your job. Let's get right into it, but dear Lord, it's more than enough to whet the appetite. A British woman who was bullied for her belly is now making close to $12,000 a month chowing down on fast food for her OnlyFans subscribers. It's not really that surprising that it's about OnlyFans. Antonio Graham, 25, spoke out about her new dream job in an interview on Tuesday, saying the money came pouring in after she first busted out on social media last year. I used to struggle hugely, the mom of three told the Daily Star. Wow, you have three kids at 25? Dear Lord. Saying that some men mocked her for her bigger belly and her stretch marks. Last year, I had a video go viral. It was just me making a joke about my weight, and it reached millions of people. Graham further explained. Yeah, Graham further explained in the comments, someone suggested I should check out eating on camera, and from there, I was sucked into the world of feederism. Feederism. I gotta say, I mean, there's some people with some really out there fetishes, right? Like, for example, I'm guessing this is probably similar to like those YouTube channels where the thing is like a mukbang, where like it's literally just people eating like massive and massive amounts of food. Like, if you were to just go to YouTube right now, type in mukbang, you will see some of the most absurd videos. And by the way, some of those videos have like hundreds of millions of views. So I'm talking about multiple six figures of revenue generated from a single video of someone eating disgusting amounts of food. Like, disgusting amounts of food to the point where, like, if you were to actually eat it, you would want to puke. Like, your body would try to force you to puke all of that food out to save yourself because it's basically like poison. So, this is what she looks like. That is obviously a very large belly, right? So Antonia Graham, 25, is raking in six figures a year by eating on camera for her OnlyFans subscribers. And the mama was mocked for her stomach in her teens and early 20s, but says she's now proudly flaunting her turn. And this is the thing, right? Like, this gets into a very scary situation, right? Like, it gets to the situation of, like, okay, is making more money worth decreasing your health? Right? Like, this is something that you got to really ask yourself. Like, what is important to you? Like, are you okay with like cutting down the years of your life for more money? Like, here's the thing. Some people be like, yeah, I would be okay losing 10 years of my life, 20 years of my life when I'm older if I could be making multiple six figures, if not seven figures, right now for the next few years, right? Like, some people will think like that, and she might think like that as well. And I mean, if you stumble upon this, feel free to give your thoughts as well, because like this is a very unsustainable and very self-damaging side hustle, right? Like, yeah, she can make a lot of money, but how long can she keep this up for? Because guess what? You don't really see a lot of old obese people. Why? Because they've already passed away, right? It's very, very rare to see an elderly obese person. That's because they tend to pass away before they hit 50. Like, if they're to this extent. I mean, she's 25 years old, if that age is correct. She's 25 years old and she's at this state, right? And it's probably going to get crazier because of the amount of money that she's probably making and probably will make. I eat mostly fast food like McDonald's and KFC, and usually enough to feed a family in one sitting. The mid-riff flashing fast food lover enthused. I eat around 3,000 calories a meal. To put that into perspective, that is basically like getting like potentially okay, like if you have a Walmart near you, this is basically the equivalent of getting three cheap frozen Walmart pizzas for every single meal. Okay? Because a like $2 or $3 Walmart pizza is like about 1,100 calories roughly. So it's basically three of those, right? For every single meal. Like that is crazy. Like your stomach has to be so stretched out to fit that amount of food. So according to the National Library of Medicine, Feederism is described as a fetish subculture in which individuals eroticize weight gain and feeding. Feeders are individuals who claim to become sexually aroused by feeding their partners and encouraging them to gain weight. You know what? I think I personally have seen this before where I've seen like a very, very skinny guy have nothing in front of him at like a buffet, and the lady across the table, like, facing him, literally had like a smorgasbord of buffet plates, and he was literally like spoon feeding her at the table. Like, yeah. Yeah, that probably is exactly what this is. So Graham subsequently decided to set up an OnlyFans and film herself eating on camera for those with that kink, and soon realized she can make a sizable income from the unusual occupation. I eat mostly fast food like McDonald's and KFC, and usually enough to feed a family in one sitting, the professional diner divulged. I eat around 3,000 calories in a meal. Like again, like this is such a scary side hustle because the more money you make, the bigger your audience, the more people that are pushing you to go down this route, the worse your health is actually going to get. And the worse your health is going to get, the more money you're actually going to make because you're going to end up creating a bigger and much more loyal fan base. Like this gets like into a really, really dark path. So I charge $12 per minute for a custom video, and I only work Mondays and Fridays. Graham is seen tucking into a pizza for a subscriber. As a mom to young children, Graham says she loves the flexibility of the job and usually only works 2 days a week. I charge $12 per minute for a custom video, only work Mondays and Fridays, but I do have the luxury of skipping often, she declared. As I only work when I need money, I earn below $12,000 a month, whereas some people in the business earn over $36,000 a month. I think like a good example of this as well. I think there's like a YouTuber who also I think does OnlyFans. I think his account name on YouTube is Nikocado Avocado, and he's like at 400 pounds now, and he does the thing called like mukbangs. And this used to be a very skinny guy who used to be vegan, and now he's 400 plus pounds, getting millions and millions of views per month, probably making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month. Like, it's such a dark, dark life. So, unlike many OnlyFans models, she doesn't need to film herself engaging in any explicit acts, as men only want to see her enjoying pizza, pastas, burgers, and fries. Most of the requests I get are PG rated. Barely any rude content is requested at all because my customers are not like ordinary men, Graham explained. They want to see you eat and grow and gain weight. I think another example of this as well is like the 1,000 pound sisters. I think it's on TLC or something like that. And I think like one of those sisters was like dating like a very skinny guy who kept trying to make her gain more and more and more and more weight. And like she was over 600 pounds and he wanted her to keep gaining more and more and more weight. Like it gets to such a dark, dark path. So, meanwhile, the body positivity activist says she has also found feeder fetishes to be extremely kind and accepting. I am so happy to have built a name for myself within this community, and everybody is so kind and sweet, she said. Despite describing it as her dream job, Graham insists that the work is harder than it looks. Look, here's the thing, like this is the reality, right? A lot of people could try to eat the amount of food that she is eating and would not be able to do it. You would end up puking up all the food. Like, you have to be like doing this, like, you have to be like eating way more than you should for a very long time to get to this state to where you could eat 3,000 calories of junk food per meal, right? Like, that is like some crazy numbers. So, unfortunately, the job does put a massive strain on your body, too, the brunette confessed. I have probably spent thousands of pounds on food to stretch out my stomach enough for this job. You really need to push yourself to the limit. Now, here's the thing, she was probably already pushing herself to the limit, which is why she's even able to do this in the first place. The model says she doesn't plan to be performing forever, saying her body wouldn't be able to sustain the long term effects of the fat laden foods. Now, here's the thing, she says this, right? Like, she says that she can't do this forever. The problem is that because she is crossing the line multiple times and increasingly crossing the line, her body is probably already at that state where it is going to be extremely difficult to really ever lose weight, to ever revert. Because your body is going to be at this like new equilibrium where like if I'm like taking in like 9,000 plus calories a day, I need to take that in again or else I'm going to feel like I'm starving. I'm going to feel like I'm suffering because her new normal is with so many calories per day. Like it's going to be extremely, extremely hard for her to ever really revert or get healthier. Like it is very hard. Like it's hard for average people who just simply eat a little bit too much calories. it's going to be hard for her because she was already someone that had an issue in terms of excess calories. So Graham isn't the only OnlyFans star who has pushed her body to the limit by trying to satisfy her subscribers. The reality star Stephanie Amato, 31, made more than $50,000 a week selling her farts on the adult website. Okay, so let's check out any comments. Good thing I saw this before I ate. That can't be healthy. It is definitely not healthy. If this doesn't scream end times, I don't know what does. That's a smart move on her part. She will need the money for medical bills soon. That's the thing. Her medical bills are probably going to be insane. Now, the thing is, she lives in the UK. I don't know about the healthcare system over there, but oh my god, her healthcare is going to be insane. She ought to have about $36,000 before a heart attack ends it all. Seriously, what is she thinking? Probably some of the most puke face emoji, almost crying face images on the web put on her on the cover of Sports Illustrated 2023. I've seen this before, and the women not only make killer money, but some of them were flown to exotic places, and it was really incredible. I don't know about it being a real tummy here, but the documentary I watched, they were real. They were gorging themselves, and it wasn't a few people, it was a big deal going on, no pun intended. This is the thing, this is the thing that like a lot of people don't know. I remember listening to a financial podcast or something where they were interviewing someone who was like an adult film star. And they basically described that the people who are making the biggest money are the niche people, like these very morbidly obese women, because the type of fans that follow them are willing to do a lot more. Like they are way more hardcore fans than like fans of like a hot girl. Like they are way more into this sort of stuff instead of like a normal dude or an average dude just thinking like, oh, that chick is hot, awesome, I'm gonna follow her. The fans of like someone like her, they're gonna be like, I have to have her content. I have to watch her content. They like get addicted to it because again, this is a fetish. They're like addicted to it. Let's see. Good Lord, somebody call Greenpeace and get them to drag it back into water at high tide. Gross. I'm guessing that's like a whale joke. Folks, God bless you if you raising kids in the social media TikTok area. Gross. She can make even more money swimming by a Japanese whaling ship. There's a lot of whale jokes. Does anyone seriously think these are real photos or videos? A bunch of fakeness all over. She, if it's a she, is wearing a type of moon bump prosthetic to make money off pervs. What is this world coming to? She not only is severely obese, she is filtered in these photos within an inch of her life. I would really hate to see what she really looks like. Gnarly. I thought she said she was Ashley Graham. Oh, great, another way for that grifter high pitch Eric to make money. That must stink. Now, here's the thing that like a lot of people don't even really understand too. Like, if you start getting to the point where you're this morbidly obese, you're like just having like simple hygiene is going to be very, very hard on you. Them poor kids, no mention of a husband, only a foolish fan would not ask. I would bounce on that hard. What? She has very thin face for someone that size. Here's the thing, people carry fat in different locations in a different way. Some people could actually be technically obese and actually still have abs because they just don't carry fat on their midsection, but everything goes into their butt or their legs or their thighs or their face. Like, it's crazy how people carry their fat around. Why is this on your site gross and disgusting? I think this is actually like a really important thing to really cover because you got to really understand, like, look, we like to talk about finances here, we like to talk about money. The reality is personal finance is, guess what, personal. So if you end up doing something like this, like, I'll put it this way. One, you got to really ask yourself how much money is worth your life, because this is going to affect your life, right? How much money would you need to make to sacrifice years of your life? Two, if you are in her similar situation or you're her, right? This is how I would manage the money if I was doing something like that, right? If I was doing something like she is, knowing full well that I am limiting my life, that I am increasing my medical costs in the future, right? That there's probably going to be future surgeries in terms of like medical, right? That if I were to ever want to get off of this stuff, like off of this calorie amount, I would have to probably get some like mental help as well, like a therapist, nutritionist, all this stuff. Like, this is going to be very expensive to wean yourself off of it, and you got to do it correctly, or you could do some damage as well. But also, who knows how long this could really last for, right? Because this is like, well, one, recurring revenue is one of the best revenue streams that you could ever have. That's one thing that's going good for her. But the thing is, you don't know how long OnlyFans will last for, or something like OnlyFans will last for. You just don't know. You don't know how long this career could last for, and the reality, specifically in this situation, you really don't know how long your body can last for. So if I was her in this situation doing this sort of thing, I would be pocketing as much money as possible and then putting that money into investments that will provide me a monthly income stream that will cover my cost of living, right? But here's the thing, first and foremost, make sure I have zero debt. Completely zero debt, which, by the way, if you want to learn how to get out of debt, go to 14bucks.com. But I would get completely out of debt. I'd probably create like a 6 month, maybe even to like a year emergency fund so that if I need to go find a career, I can. If I need to go find a job, I can. And I have a lot of buffer because I might also be dealing with a medical issue. Then I would be really focusing on trying to set something up that is not related to this stuff at all, that will provide me with some sort of income. This could be retirement income. This could be like an index fund like the S&P 500. This could be rental properties, which would probably make the most sense for her because you could hire a property manager. Like, I would do things like that if I was in her situation, right? And I would keep my expenses as low as I possibly could. Because again, who knows how long she can keep this up for? Truly.